So today I'm using my GoPro to record my video, and I don't necessarily have a proper stand when it comes to my GoPro. So my stand is basically 2 Coca-Cola cans and a and an energy drink can. So the slightest vibrations, I have a feeling, are going to tip the webcam over. So if that happens, I apologize in advance. But let's just get right to the video. The topic of today's video is festival racers and how I absolutely do not like festival racers, and I'm absolutely sick of them. So let's get right into it. But before we begin, if you like the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I'm doing a bunch of racing game content, and if you like that type of stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get right. God damn it. I felt this way about festival racers for a hot minute now. It just seems that for the past 5-6 for a while, festival racers have just kind of dominated the arcade racing game space. And the announcement of the Crew Motorfest has really kind of pushed me to talk about this topic. It seems that every racing game and again, when I'm talking racing games, I'm talking arcade racing games, simulation racing games like iRacing, Automobilista 2, like those are all fun and those are all completely different. I'm talking strictly arcade racing games. It seems that they all want to be like Forza. They all want to be a Forza Horizon killer, and it doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of innovation within the arcade racing scene. The only racing game, in my opinion, arcade racing game that's really kind of gone out and tried to innovate is Need for Speed, and they don't always succeed when they try to innovate. And it always seems like the post-launch content for Need for Speed games is always extremely lacking. So what it really seems like, even though we've had 2 Need for Speed games within the past 4 years, there's been barely any post-launch content for them. So it really seems like, aside from those 2 not kind of flukes in a sense, it's always just been about Horizon Festival, the Crew 2, and now Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, which is more so going towards the festival route as well. Here's the thing, Forza Horizon 5 is very fucking successful, and the Crew 2 and all these other racing game developers are going and saying, okay, what's popular, what's doing well, what's reviewing well? It's Forza Horizon. Let's do Forza Horizon. I mean, the first thing that I thought when I saw the Crew Motorfest trailer was, okay, this looks exactly like Forza Horizon. In fact, the trailer itself just gives off massive Forza Horizon vibes. The game has lost its original identity. We're talking about the franchise that originally was about cross-country treks, illegal street racing, off-road rally racing. Like, the Crew 1 was arguably not the best game out there, but at the same time, the Crew 1 was extremely innovative. The Crew 1 at some points was basically a spiritual successor to Smuggler's Run. I mean, the story was also very dark. It had a lot of not violent, but there was some violence in the game. Your brother literally dies. He literally gets shot right in front of you. And the story, comparatively, when you compare it to other racing games, is actually pretty fucking good. And we're talking about a game that had charm, it had identity, and look what it became with the Crew 2, and now look at it with the Crew Motorsport. It's nearly indistinguishable from Forza Horizon. And why did they do this? Because they saw that Forza Horizon was doing successfully, and they decided to go down that route. And what this has led to is just, with the Crew 2 being one of the few racing games actually giving out proper post-launch support along with Forza Horizon, it's felt like that all we've ever gotten has been festival racers over the past nearly 10 years. And it's just becoming super saturated, and you can really feel the burnout now. Like, big folks in the community are even talking about the burnout now. And the burnout hits different today, because it seems like we're at our breaking point with these festival racers, because it just seems like that's all we've been getting. Racing games feel stuck. That's probably the best way to sum it up. Racing games feel stuck right now. And what's even worse about these festival racers, and I'm talking about Forza Horizon 5 here as well, is they feel shallow and empty. They don't even feel like proper festival racers. Like, they can't match the vibe of the OG festival racer, Need for Speed Pro Street, or Forza Horizon 1. I mean, after Forza Horizon 1, the games have been festivals, but they don't The vibe doesn't match. They feel super shallow and the worlds feel super hollow. And this is something I gotta give credit to Need for Speed Unbound about. And just Need for Speed in general, sticking with the illegal street racing route. As car companies and car manufacturers are becoming more strict with licensing and just with how political the gaming can be nowadays, I'm super happy that EA is still sticking to their guns and letting illegal street racing games, you know, work and be released. It just sucks that they suck at post-launch content, because once you finish a Need for Speed game, there really isn't a whole lot to do. So you're naturally going to go gravitate to a game that has proper live service. Unfortunately, that's the Crew 2 and Forza Horizon 5. So it really feels like the Need for Speed games are kind of like one-off breaks from the festival racing onslaught that we've been having over the past couple years. The only arcade racing games that seem to really kind of break this barrier and try and go out and innovate are indie games. We're talking Night Runners, upcoming Night Runners, that looks fucking sick. Monbazoo, I've poured almost like 50 hours into Monbazoo, and there's so much more for me to do. I absolutely love that game. My Summer Car, Inertial Drift, all of these indie racing games. I'm sure there's a lot more, but a lot of these indie racing games are the ones taking the arcade racing game scene to new heights. And it's kind of insane to me how these AAA companies aren't capitalizing on this and trying to do something new, as opposed to just the same thing over and over and over and over again. Like Forza Horizon 6, if there is a Forza Horizon 6, they need to do something massively different. They need to switch it up. They need to switch up, because if the next Forza Horizon is just Forza Horizon 5, but in Japan, it's gonna get it's gonna be stale. After a couple months, it's gonna be the exact same way. It's going to feel the exact same way it feels today. If Need for Speed doesn't step it up with the post-launch content, this feeling's going to continue. If we're not getting anything new or innovative from Criterion Games, then, you know, what do we have? We just have a ton of other festival racers that all feel like the exact same game to play. It's just sad to me how most of the innovation is coming from indie games and mods for existing games. No Hezi on Assetto Corsa is some of the most fun I've had in a hot minute playing racing games. And I know Assetto Corsa is not necessarily an arcade game, but it's more a sandbox racing game where you can literally just mod it to be whatever the hell you want. You get to live out your New York City street racing fantasy in Assetto Corsa, and not just that, but also Shotoku Revival Project as well massively transformed that game. And there's a ton of other street racing mods for Assetto Corsa, but you kind of get my drift. And then you also have mods like Project Unite, taking Need for Speed up a level and more so fixing the game, making it what it should have been, but still innovating in some aspect. So to sum it all up, Forza needs to switch it up, and the Crew needs to do something other than just copying Forza Horizon, because that really seems to be their motto right now. And Ubisoft as a whole is just going down the shitter, it seems. So I'm not really expecting anything like super solid out of the Crew Motorsport. I'm hoping it's a good game, but I'm not expecting anything earth-shattering from that game. It just feels like Ubisoft Forza Horizon. That's basically all it's gonna be. And do we as a community just want multiple copies of Forza Horizon from different publishers? No, I want to go back to the days where Need for Speed was doing something unique, the Crew was doing something unique, Forza was doing something unique, okay? Like, all these games feel exactly the same, and it needs to change. And I feel like that's a major contribution as to why we're experiencing the burnout that we are. Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to be a festival racer nowadays, and I'm just absolutely sick of it. That's it for me tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with me. If I missed anything, be sure to hit it down in the comment section down below. That's it for me tonight. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that comments button and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Have a good night, everyone.